Hi, I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and I'm thankful that you're here, where you and I together get to start to create something in V-carve with some flair to it. You can draw all kinds of stuff in V-carve with boxes and circles, but when it comes to adding some style, it gets a little more challenging, and you have to learn some extra tools. So, as a beginner, you are going to learn some new stuff today about V-carve, some of the other features in it, and you're going to be able to come up with some pretty cool stuff that you can slap on your laser or your CNC router. And this is what we're going to be drawing, this uniquely styled love heart. Now, we're doing this because hearts are hard to draw, but we're doing it more so because I want to teach you how to draw and design with style. What we're going to draw up will be available to you as a free file for me, a gift from my heart. So we'll talk about that at the end, how you can get that, so you can tweak around with it, play with it, learn from it, whatever you want to do, or make it and give it to your girl or your guy. Believe it or not, hearts are actually hard to draw when it comes to this kind of software. And that's why I'm going to show you how to do a heart with some style. So let's dive into V-carve and rock this out. Okay, we are in V-carve and we have our material selection set up. We are 24 inches by 24 inches by quarter-inch thick, 0.25. And we're going to be working off center here, and we're going to click OK. Now the size of your material doesn't matter. You can work with any size you want. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we're going to draw a line down the middle here. So we're going to come over to Polyline, and we're going to click it and connect right up at the top of the vertical line, and then come all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to snap to it. Now, just make sure your snaps are turned on right here, this one and this one. Okay, and then we're going to hit escape. Now we want to draw a circle. And so the circle button is right here under create vectors. Click it, and we're just going to come on this horizontal line just somewhere out here, and push your left mouse button down and drag over until it snaps to the center line. And now we have it. Now we're going to hit escape again. Select again the circle so it highlights like this, and then use your up cursor button just to move your heart up. And there we go. And now we're going to escape. So now we have to draw our line coming down here. And what we're going to do is start with a regular straight line, polyline right here under create vectors. Click it, and we are going to pick a point somewhere where we think our heart is going to be ending at. You can just kind of imagine a line coming down, and then let's get a little closer, in and then back out like that. So we figure it'll be about right here. We got that line picked and point picked, and now we are going to just hover over the circle and hit T. And what that's going to do is that's going to put the line tangent to the circle. And now we're going to hit escape again. Now the line is selected. I want you to hit N for node. And this is a straight line, so what we want to do is get another node in here. So we're just going to hover down. You see the little center point right here? We want to hover down below that little center point, just right about there, and hit insert. And now we have a node there. Now you see it's a black node. We want this to be a blue node so we can create a curve. So hover over it and hit S for smooth. So now we have a smooth node, and we're going to click it and drag it inward a little bit. Just like that. Now if I hit escape, you see that this line looks a little funny. It comes in, it starts to curve out, and then curves back in again. We're going to fix that this way. You click the line, go to node, and you see this little flag is on the outside. You want this flag for this part of the vector to be inside, that for the node. And that'll give you a more natural curve. Now we hit escape, and we have a bit of a more natural curve now. It still doesn't look that much like a heart, but we're getting there. What we're going to do now is trim out this part of the circle, and you're going to hit the cut button right here, and you're just going to snip that out of there. And escape, select that line that you drew and delete it. We have to join our vectors. See, we have a separate vector here, so you want to always check for that. So we select that line, we hold the shift button down and select the next line. So you can do the right click, and a menu will come up, and there will be join vectors if it's highlighted. then you know you have to join a vector, and you can do it with line or curve or move your endpoints. Now we want to do it with a line, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. We are going to select these guys again, hold the shift button down, and we're going to use this button right here, which is a little bit faster, join or close the vectors. So you hit that, and now this is one single vector like that. All right, we are going to mirror this across the vertical line. So we're going to mirror it horizontal that way. So we're going to use the mirror button, hit mirror, and we're just going to flip horizontal. What that's going to do is going to pick the center point and flip it. And there we have it. Now, if you lost your first one, it's because over here, create a mirrored copy was not selected. If you didn't, then hit Control Z, select that, and then hit your flip horizontal again. Okay, so now we have to join these vectors, so we're going to close that. And we have 2 points that are not joined. So what we have to do is join vectors twice. So click both sides. So you grab the one, then you hold shift down and select the other, and come over here and join vectors with a line and hit it twice. And now you are connected. So we are in good shape here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a tail to this heart. We're going to curve it down that way. Go to Node button, and we're going to grab that point, and we're just going to drag it over to here. And then we're going to take this flag, because we want that curve to stay in there. And we're going to drag this flag. We don't want that to be on the outside, because it makes it look a little fun. It might not look too bad. I'm going to escape for a second and see. I want it to curve inward. So I'm going to select it, hit Node again, and I'm going to bring that back to the inside, or I can just hit Control Z. Now this guy is looking a little funny, so what I want to do, it's too much of a curve for me. I'm just going to drag it down and over a little bit. So now we've got a little bit of a flare going off that way, so that's good. I'm happy with that. What we're going to do is we're going to add a tail to the end of this heart. And we're going to do this in kind of an interesting way. This button right here, you create an oval, and just come down, something about like that. And then escape, select your oval, so you get your selector buttons on there, and we're going to move it down, and then turn it a little bit by selecting the outer buttons. You got these little outer blue buttons there. You grab that and rotate it, so it looks like it's in line with the heart. And now we're going to move it over, and we're going to just move it over a little bit more so it's a little balanced in the middle there. I think this has to come back just a tad. There we go. So now let's start adding some style. We're going to select our heart, and we are going to offset it. So now we're going to use the offset command, and we're going to create another heart around the outside. Now before we do this, we're going to run into a little bit of a problem. We have a very sharp corner here, and I want to show you what it's going to do. We hit this offset button, and I'm going to create it on the outside at a 0.25 width. And it has keep sharp offset corners. And when I create, it gives me an alert. So we're going to go to Vector Selector, and we have a goofy line here. So let's take a look at what's happening here. This is more stuff that you're going to learn about. So Vector Selector is something that's going to show you things that don't work right with this. And what we have is we have a double crossover on our line right here, and it showed up right there. And I'm going to hit escape. Nope, I'm going to click it. I'm going to hit node, and watch what happens. I'm going to grab one of these 2 nodes and see what's going on. We have a double line there, and that's why it gave us that issue. So we're just going to swing it around till it snaps over to here. And we are going to be good to go now. Okay, so you can get the general idea of what we're doing with this heart. So let's click it again and do an offset right here. And we're going to try that one more time. And there it is. It offset our line. Now we're going to do the same with the oval. So here's what I want you to think about with the oval. We're going to come down with our heart, and we're going to swing around in that oval shape and come back up. So right now I feel like the oval is too high, so I'm going to close this for a moment, and I'm going to select the oval, and I'm going to nudge it down until the oval lines tend to match up with the flow of the heart. So we have that now where the oval just kind of comes up that way. We're going to come down a little bit more. There we go. So now this line is going to come up to there. This line will come up to there. Now we are going to offset the oval to the inside. So while we have oval selected, you go to offset again, and we're going to select the inside. Click that. It's at a 0.25 and select. All right, so that's looking pretty good. We're going to close this, and then we're going to grab both of these by selecting with the window and then click them again. And we're going to actually nudge it down a little bit further, because I want to make sure I get this flow right from these two lines. So it looks like the point right here on the oval is going to have to generally intersect. So we're going to come back and we're going to grab an arc right here, and you're going to pick this point, and you're going to come down onto the oval just somewhere where it kind of flows into it, and we're going to just create a very gentle arc. And we're going to do the same with this side. So we're going to grab that point and just come right in with our very gentle arc. There we go. So now we're just going to start cutting things out. So grab your scissors, click it, and we're going to start cleaning out everything in the middle. So we're going to do it like this. Okay. And we got a little bit of a crossover right there. You know, V-carve is good enough to show that, so I want you to click that and hit node and grab that node right there. And the reason is they are not joined. So we're just going to move it up a little bit, and then we're going to select our line. We're going to escape out of node, we're going to select our line, and we're going to close the vector with a line. So we're going to use this feature right here and hit close. And you can see it just put a line there. So we are good to go. And let's just close everything up again. And that's looking good. Well, we're about halfway there. At this point, you have learned about the mirror function, you've learned about vector validator, you've learned about the joining vectors in a little different way, and where some of the errors you get when you're doing this kind of stuff. That's sometimes kind of hard to figure out. Now, we're doing a heart. I know hearts aren't always the greatest things to make. What I'm conveying here is the creativity that you can do in vCarve. Most people don't do this kind of stuff, so you are getting ahead of the curve. So as a beginner, you are crossing up over that beginner level into the intermediate. You're getting better, right? Okay, anyway, let's dive back in, and remember, this file is going to be available to you to do whatever you want to do with it. I'll let you know at the end of the video how to get that. Let's move everything up a little bit so it's all on the page using my cursor button. And we're going to add some really interesting stuff to this guy now. So I just want to show you what this looks like with a V-carve. So the V-carve will cut the groove throughout this whole thing in a V shape. This is the V-carve function. It's going to cut a V. And we're going to select a 90-degree tool. It'll default to where it needs to go. We just need to make sure our start point right here is at 0. The 0 is the surface of the material. Come down and calculate. And we have that, so we're going to run the selected toolpath. And there it is. So I'm going to change this material so it looks a little bit different. So we're going to come up here to our material, and we're just going to come down. Let's pick a metal type of look. What about metals? Let's go with brass light. And what we're going to do is we're going to color this cut. So right here, you see toolpath color. That's going to color everything in that toolpath. Say, click the radio button, we'll hit black, and there it is. So there's an interesting little heart. We've added a little flair to it, but we're going to make this even better. Watch this. You're going to like this. We're going to add the word love right in here as a part of that heart. So we have to click this button here to switch back over, and we have to go to our 2D tools, and we are going to go to text mode. Text right here. Click text. Let's type in love, capital L with the rest of the letters small. And so you want to select the font that you want. I like this font right here, which is called Arizona, Arizonia. And we're going with that. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to select it. You're getting really good at this stuff. And I'm going to move it over to here. I want it to be bigger. So I'm going to select one of the inner buttons, and we're going to expand it. About like that. What it's going to do is we're going to rotate it, and we're going to move it into position on the heart. What I want to do with this is I want the E to flow into the heart from the end, and from the beginning the heart is going to flow into this swirl or this curve on the L. So we have to get everything in line, so we have to rotate a little bit more. Not quite there yet. What I want to do is get this bottom part of the L or the top part of the L on the line, while the E can flow into this. And so I pretty much have it now. This is good. The first thing we want to do is take this word and we're going to weld it. Right now this is text, and you can see the O ends right here and the V starts right here. And so they overlap, and we are going to eliminate that. So what we're going to do is highlight the word, and you know it's a word when you highlight it and everything in it highlights. We're going to highlight it, we're going to use the weld button right here, and that's going to weld this word into vectors, and it's going to lose its text format and go into vector format. So we hit that, it's going to give us an alert that we want to replace all the existing lines with vectors. So we click that, and now everything is a single vector. So you click the inside of the O, it's a single vector. All right, so let's take care of this L first. I want you to see this is completely separate. Everything has to get connected, by the way. That's what we're going to accomplish. So let's just take this guy, and what we're going to do is skirt it over or up into the O while it's touching the L. So we click that twice, and we just start to nudge it around. Just like that, until it's crossed over the O and it's crossed over the L. And we've got that. Now we want to get the L just right into the flow. So this part of the heart is going to flow into the L. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a curve right here, right there. Select that curve and pick someplace on the L where it's just going to flow. And you just have to pick your eye and go with it. What's best with your eye. And so I'm going to go right there. And we're just going to make it a gentle arc like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the top. And it's already crossed over right there, so I'm just going to go with that. And what we're going to do now is start trimming things away. So I want you to take your scissors right there, and we are going to start cutting things on the inside. So we're going to cut that, we're going to cut that, and we're going to cut that line, and then we're going to cut that part of the L out. Oops, hit it twice. There we go. And we're going to cut, Control Z, on with a straight line right there. And then we're going to click that. And then we're going to click that. So now we flow right into the L. While we got our scissors, we're just going to get these two guys right there. And we're going to take care of the O as well. Now we're going to go with the E, and we're going to fix the E up. So we're going to close that, and we're going to draw curves. And what we're going to do is curve the tail of the E to here, and in an inner part of the E, we're going to curve it up to there. So you click that, and we're just going to pick some point down here where we just want our curve to start. And I clicked curve, by the way, and it's going to come up here, and we're just going to go with the flow. What looks good. We're going to have a little crossover down here, and then we're going to pick about the same point on the E over here. And we're going to pick about the same point up here, maybe a little further up. So it flares out, and we got it. So we close that, we get our scissors, and cut the inside there, cut the inside there, and then we are going to cut the inside there. We're going to eliminate everything else, so we're going to hit escape, and you're going to select the end of the E, and that didn't work, so we're not going to select that yet. We're going to get rid of these two lines, so highlight both of those and hit, we can't hit delete on that either, it's connected to somewhere, and I want to break that connection. So it's connected right there. So what we want to do is trim it right here. So we're just going to pick our scissors again and trim. We're going to trim up here. We're going to trim over here and trim up there, and then we're going to stop, and so we have to trim this little E as well, the tail of the E. So we're just going to trim everything out. So trim that, trim that, trim that, trim that, trim that. Hit escape, select your lines, and hit delete, hit delete. And so now almost everything's connected. So now the only thing we need to connect is the V and the E. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add like a swirl, like an S, flowing from here over to here. Now I want you to take note real quick. You can see on my screen there's a little dark spot right here. That means we got a line that is not doing what we want it to do. We will fix that in a little bit. So in order to get this curve, we have to select draw curves. So you select that, and we're going to come to this part of the V and just select it, and we're just going to start to draw an S. We're just going to do an S shape. And I'm just going to come back up into here. I'm going to hit tab, and I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to pretty much follow the same path. This is why I like to have my snap turned off sometimes. And we're just going to curve back around and come right into this guy here. Okay, now we're going to escape. We're going to select the other one, select node, and we're just going to drag those nodes up a little bit to get that deviation out. We're making a really nice heart here with a pretty cool thing. And if you're a guy, you know, I mean, make this for your girl. You know, it's just one of those things. So I'm going to shorten that tab up a little bit just to drop that hook out. Actually, that's not that important right here. And the reason is because this is going to go. We just wanted to get that flow going. So grab your scissors now. First hit escape, then grab the scissors, and we're going to come in and cut that out. And you can see it's a little goofy. And we're going to come in and cut that out. I'm holding the left mouse key down as I drag over these guys. Okay. So this has to get fixed up a little bit. Very easy. Select it, hit node, and hover over that and hit S. And you see it just converted it into a different type of node, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Now I just want to swing it and smooth that swing out. Whenever the snaps turn on, it gets like that. We're going to do the same thing here. Select that. You got a goofy line there. Just hover over it and hit S, and it straightened that out. And will we see that in a finished product? No, we won't. Okay, so let's go over and fix this guy right here. And the way you fix that, we can probably trim this out. Let's go to our scissors and just come in close, and we're going to hit trim and see what happens. And that didn't work. So we're going to select the other one, and that did work. But we still have a crossover here. And you see there's a goofy spot right there. So we're going to select that point. Now we have to join this. So select that. We're going to have to do a lot of joining because we had a lot of separate vectors going on here. So we just highlight that, and I would hit join vector several times. So I've hit it about 6 times there. Now we're going to right click, and it says the join vectors is no longer selected, so we're good there. Now we have to do the other one, which is the inside of the heart, and we probably have to join there. I'm going to right click, and yep, we have to join vectors with a line, and let's right click it again, and we're done. Okay. So I think we're pretty good here. Oh, I saw another spot. Let's see what happens. We're going to check this with the vector validator, but this is what we have so far. So it's looking pretty cool. So this is a different tool that you're going to learn about right now, this vector validator. And what this is going to do, it's going to find any errors in this, like double lines that lines that double back on themselves or areas that aren't connected. So when you click that, there are three different selections here. There's the zero length spans, there's an overlap, and there's intersections. Most of the time you're going to have an overlap issue. You always just want to hit select all, and there is an issue over here, and it's an overlap. And I thought I spotted that. There's two overlaps here. So we're zooming way in to see what's going on. And now I'm going to close that. And it looks like there's an overlap. So you select it, hit node, and grab one of your nodes and pull it away. And you can see that's the overlap. So we're just going to come back over here. And let's see what happens. Hit escape and hit vector selector again and select all. And it looks like everything is looking good. So with this, we're going to rock and roll. So now let's go carve this out. We're going to close that. We're going to go up to our heart. We're going to switch over to our toolpaths. And we're going to come back into the V-carve toolpath by double clicking it. And you can see nothing selected but the little inside loop down here. So all we're going to do is just click, left click, hold, and drag all the way across so everything's highlighted. And all the tooling is all that is already set up. We're going to calculate. And first thing we're going to do is just reset, hit the reset, and then you're going to preview selected toolpath. And there is our job. Beautiful little heart. And there you go. Now I told you that I was going to make this file available to you for free. And the way you do that is down below there's a little link to give me your email so I know where to send it to. What I'll do is I'll send it to you as a file as V-carve, as a DXF, PDF, SVG, so you can do it on your CNC laser, your CNC router, your CNC plasma cutter. Heck, you can even do it on your CNC milling machine. So down below, just click the link, enter your email, and I'll send it to you right away. If this video was helpful to you, if you learned some new stuff today, give me a thumbs up and put a comment down below. What else do you want to know? I will teach you everything you want to know. You know what? You are like no longer a beginner. You are getting really good at this stuff because most people never even get to the point of learning some of the stuff that you just learned today. All right. Have yourself an awesome day, and I will talk to you next time.